Good afternoon. We're getting started just a few minutes late. I'm Ann Bayless, Dean of the College of Business and Innovation. I want to thank you for coming and helping us celebrate this first Doing Right Spotlight Award ceremony. Thanks to the generous contributions of the Martin family and their gift to recognize ethical businesses, we're happy to join in the recognition. You may know our mission at the John B. and Lillian E. College of Business and Innovation is to develop ethical business leaders. It's right in our mission statement. It helps if in our midst there are great examples. The businesses and their owners who are being recognized today are not only great role models for our students, but they are creating a better Toledo community. They are a reflection of what is good and socially responsible in the world that is complicated, sometimes divided, and fraught with the disruptions of climate disasters, war, and pandemic illnesses. This is more than a feel-good exercise. This is a statement to the community that we have honorable and generous businesses in Toledo who are making a difference, if even in a quiet way. Today is the chance to shine a light on their good works. As an accredited business school, we have to demonstrate that we're making a positive societal impact with our research, teaching, and service. Again, it helps to have partners in the business community who are doing just that. And for that, we are taking the time to spotlight them. Congratulations to all who are honored today. You are first in what we hope is an annual opportunity to recognize local businesses who are doing well by doing good. Thank you to our sponsors who are listed on the program. I will say it every time I have the chance. The Toledo community, the Toledo business community is the most supportive business community I have ever been associated with in my career. With your support, we can make that societal impact we are challenged to do. Thank you to the Center for Family Business, Angie Jones, Megan O'Brien, and Sally Berglund for their hard work and outstanding event planning efforts. Thank you in advance to Jeremy Park for sharing his insights with us. Thank you, last but not least, of course, to Donna Martin and her late husband Robert and her family, and her vision for acknowledging ethical business practices. We started talking about this over 2 years ago during the pandemic, and it has blossomed into a full-blown event, as she hoped. You are an angel investor, Donna, and this is an exciting new chapter for the center. This will be an event to remember. And now I'd like to introduce Donna Martin.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you and thank you, each and every one of you, for being here today. This is the culmination of something that dawned on me many years ago, and I'm so happy to see it come to this point. It's only the beginning. I want to tell you that my husband, Robert Martin, did a lot of good I didn't even know about, because after he passed away, when I went through his wallet to get mementos, there were all these little torn pieces of paper and napkins that people had written to him saying, "I'll pay you back $2,000 as soon as my business does better. And I'll give you your whatever back because I needed it and you loaned it to me." So I knew he was doing good in little quiet ways. And so now we're going to do good and show you good in a bigger way. So thank you all for being here. My daughter's here with me today, and she does a lot of good all by herself. My job is to introduce Jeremy. I wasn't supposed to say that other stuff, so here we go. I don't follow directions well at all. Jeremy Park helps individuals and organizations power the good. He is the CEO of City Current and author of 2 books, both of which I have, contributor to Forbes, producer and host of 4 television and 2 radio shows. You should have seen him on the interview with the BCS. He was so good. And Changemaker podcast. He's a sought-after speaker, inspiring audiences around the nation with his model and the power of giving for growth. And if you don't have that book, I suggest you pick it up. And that book helps us achieve higher levels of success by becoming a spark for communities. Park has received numerous recognitions like the top 40 under 40 and has been featured in national and international publications such as Forbes, Entrepreneur, Fortune Magazine, Yahoo, News, LA Week, and Leaders Edge. We're honored to have him here today so we can all be sparks to power the good in our community. Thank you again. Welcome, Jeremy. Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh.
All right, so I'm going to put that mic there for everyone else to use, and I'm going to use this mic. All right, so first, let's show some appreciation for Donna, the Martin family, obviously University of Toledo, the Family Business Center. Let's give them a round of applause because, yes, their vision, their leadership to do this, it's impressive. The inaugural event is always the hardest one to put together. So when you talk about getting all of you out here, one, thank you for showing up. But this is a special occasion. It's an opportunity, obviously, to spotlight the honorees for the good that they're doing. And so it's our chance to thank them. But it's also, too, an opportunity for us to encourage more good, doing right. And one of the things that Donna, had in her heart was, how do we celebrate good ethics? How do we talk about the decisions that we make to do the right thing, right? Doing right. Well, when you talk about using a show, an experience, an event like this, it's an opportunity for us to spotlight those who are leading by example, who are doing things ethically, who are investing in their team, their community, their consumers, their customers, doing all the right things to power the good. But it's also, too, a chance for us to encourage more good, because when you spotlight, put a spotlight on those who are doing good, it's an opportunity for us to encourage more of that. And we've seen that firsthand with the stuff that we do. We have a televised award show called the Spark Awards. We've been doing it for 10 years. And once you put it out there and you create this opportunity to spotlight the good, it encourages more good. It also is an opportunity for us to take the stories and the lessons that they're learning and share them with you. And you're going to see powerful storylines here in terms of how they're serving their team, their community, all of us together. And it's a chance for you to take these ideas and take them back to your own organization and say, hey, I never thought about that. Why don't we do that? And that's where all of a sudden this becomes easy. And it's an opportunity for you to take it back and do something special so you can become a spark in your own right with your family, your organization, and obviously the community at large. So that's kind of the goal of this. Spotlight the good, but also encourage more of it and give you some dots that you can connect so you can take them back to your organization. So we're going to have some fun. I'm going to share a little bit of my storyline. I'm going to talk about what I do, give you a little bit of that, talk about the 3 truths that we kind of operate on our end and why that's important to you, talk about some corporate philanthropy trends. That's the stuff we write about in Forbes, and then share a lot of tips that you can use to be able to activate in your company and organization. And so with that, let's see if I can get the clicker to click over to the presentation. If not, Megan, we might have you be our tour guide. Let's see if we can, there we go. There we go. All right. How doing right will power the good for your business and community. All right, so there we go. All right, we're off and running. So that's a picture of me and my family and a lot of the good that I do on my end with the shows. But I grew up in Weatherford, Texas. It's a suburb of Fort Worth, Texas. And the thing about it is my parents had an open door policy. So 24 hours, day or night, if you were going through a difficult situation, you would come over to our house. Our parents would take you in, feed you, do whatever was necessary. As Donna mentioned, like the IOUs, we had a lot of those in our family. And what my brother and I didn't realize at the time was that open door policy, the more my parents gave and just genuinely helped, the more it created opportunities for our family. And my brother just recently rolled out, after 2 decades of serving our country as a Marine, bronze medal with valor, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, he's a hero for sure. But we laugh about it now as adults because we didn't realize all these families would just come over, and whether they were going through a divorce, job loss, whatever it was, needed money, My dad was in the insurance business. My mom was a school teacher. 99.9% of the problems people had nothing to do with either of those. They just needed someone to care. And so we got to see at an early age the power of just caring for others. And even now, looking back, we didn't realize at the time, our tennis coach, he would show up to our house. We'd be obviously playing tennis all day with him, and then he would come over at the house at night, and he would eat dinner with us, watch TV. My dad let him use the stringing machine. He would string rackets there and just hang out with us, and some nights he actually slept on the couch. He became part of our family, but what we didn't realize until later was that he was going through a divorce. And my parents noticed that he needed to have love and support around him, and so they opened up the door. And it was just, once again, a powerful reminder that making a difference doesn't have to be hard or difficult. It's just about caring for people. And the more you care, the more it leads to all of these amazing opportunities to work with individuals just like this. And so I've built my whole career around volunteerism, around making a difference and serving. And it's led, obviously, to a lot of amazing stories that I don't have time to share today. But the power of just caring and serving leads you in a lot of really cool directions. And that's how I've built my whole life and career. And my brother has as well, obviously. So when you talk about what I do in all of these storylines, I'm the CEO of an organization called City Current. We're based out of Memphis, Tennessee. We have a team in Nashville. We're expanding all over the place to Dallas-Fort Worth. But we connect business with community to power the good. That's our mission, to power the good. Short, sweet, simple, boom, through events, media, and philanthropy. And so I have a chance to work with a lot of amazing organizations, many of which you probably recognize, like FedEx, AutoZone, Smith & Nephew, Delta Dental, ARS. A lot of these are based in the Mid-South, and have a chance to work with their CSR and their citizenship and their teams to get them involved, but also to celebrate the good that they're doing. And so I've learned tremendous amounts from them, and we have a chance to work together to power the good. We do over 300 events a year, and so if you came in earlier, you might have seen like we were up, on the ladder, adjusting the cameras and such, the projector. We do a lot of events, and I'm used to picking up trash, opening doors, do whatever needs to be done in the interest of collaboration, enrichment, and knocking down silos so that we can all get where we need to go together. It's a lot of bringing in national guest speakers. It's a lot of workshops and panel discussions, anything to pour in to be able to help you with good content, but also events like this are really important in person because it leads to new opportunities, new relationships, yes, for business development and those opportunities, but really for community cultivation. It's a chance for you to share where your heart is and align resources to be able to knock down those silos between government, education, faith, business, all the different sides of our community that need to work together, but typically work in silos. And that's why these events are so important, is to get people out of their silos to work together. So a lot of events, a lot of service. And we'll talk about why that's so important. So yes, here are 3 truths that I operate on, that City Current operates on, that I learned firsthand with my parents. And I think this is something that I really want you all to take away in terms of why these events, why everything that we do is so important when you talk about community service. The first truth is people physically solve problems. And so while money is a great resource, and nonprofits obviously need that to fund their mission, the problem is if I put a dollar bill up here on the podium, it physically doesn't do anything. It doesn't parent a child. It doesn't pass out meals to seniors. It doesn't scrub graffiti off of buildings. It doesn't pick up litter. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there. Money is a great resource, but we need you physically involved. And we'll see it later on in the trends, but we're really good at saying, here's some money. It's your problem. You go solve it. And if we don't have the right leadership in place, serving on boards, volunteering, raising their hand to be a part of the solution, that money just flows right through the drain. And so that's the biggest key, is realizing that people physically solve problems. We need you involved in the community physically. The next one is that people provide opportunities for people. And so that's where you start realizing, okay, the more I get involved, the more I raise my hand to be a part of the solution, the more I hone my leadership skills, the more I can see that I can add value and others can see that I can add value. The more that I can be positive and uplifting, it can be a galvanizing force, a magnetic force that brings more people to the place, right? To the mission. And so you also realize that as businesses, everyone wants an ROI. What's in it for me? And so the more you get involved, you all work for an organization, but somebody hired you. Somebody gave you a chance. As an entrepreneur, somebody is going to believe in you and invest in you and open up doors for growth. It all goes back to people provide opportunities for people. And so that's where when you start connecting the dots, the more I physically serve and get involved in the community, the more people I meet, the more positive I am, the more I'm lifting. All of a sudden, I create this huge pipeline of opportunities where I can be a catalyst for good in my life, in my career, and in my community, and obviously is my business. And that's where then the third is that giving leads to growth. Whenever it transitions, there we go. Come on, you can do it. Well, there we go. Giving leads to growth. That's the whole purpose of the second book, is talking about these lessons and talking about why service, physical service, is so important. All right, so why does all this matter? Raise your hand if you're in the corporate sector, if you're with a business. Do we have business leaders here? Business? Yeah. So a lot of business leaders. Let's talk about why this matters to you. So these are the things that we talk about with Forbes. All right, the number one trend, the most important one, is that social impact is now mandatory. Consumers are looking at businesses to be a part of the solution. They're looking at where you are investing. These are front page quotes from Forbes, USA Today, books. Companies without social impact culture will soon be obsolete. Consumers looking at corporate America to be a part of the solution. There's a great quote from The Soft Edge, which I'm not going to read, but basically we're now looking at companies as individuals. We didn't look at it in the past as, well, you need to be involved, you need to be out serving, you need to be making a difference. We're not looking at things like sincerity, authenticity. Well, now we are. We're applying individual traits to businesses saying, we want you involved, and we're going to choose to do business with you based on your social good efforts. Once again, I'm going to share some quotes. You can Google these. There's tons of quotes. You'll find they range a little bit off and on, but as a trend, these all stick. 70% of consumers want to know that the brands they support are what they're doing to address social and environmental issues. They want you involved. 85% of millennials are choosing the companies that they choose to invest in and buy products on based on the social good efforts. All of the clothes I'm wearing literally give back. The clothes from Stamp, the shirt, supports Big Brothers Big Sisters. This supports Brooks Brothers and St. Jude. The point is that now more than ever, you can find anything you're doing, you'll find a company that has a higher purpose, and we're now actively searching those out to be able to put our money where our mouth is. So there's lots of quotes that you can go through there we go. 70% of employees said their sense of purpose is defined by their work. This is a big one for employees choosing where to work, and that's the other side of this, is that consumers are driving the purchasing decisions, but also employees are choosing where to work based on social good efforts. So they want meaning, they want purpose, they want volunteer opportunities, not on the weekend, but during the weekday. They want you to be involved, and so when you think about this for talent attraction, development, retention, having a higher purpose is mandatory. Social impact is mandatory, not just for consumers, but for your employees who want to be involved. And so 90% of employees who work at companies with a strong sense of purpose say they're more inspired, motivated, and loyal. Their happiness increases, their productivity increases. Here's an interesting one. 75% of employees request their companies to develop volunteer activities to give back to the communities and support their cause at work. They are looking at you to provide the opportunities and the leadership to get them involved. We used to have conversations around community service around the dinner table. That's gone away. We used to have them at church. Large part, sadly, that's gone away. So where are they looking for these sort of opportunities to learn and grow what it means to be a philanthropist, what it means to give back? They're looking at the businesses. Here's the ROI. Businesses with social impact initiatives are growing 30% faster. Companies whose objectives are directed towards improving the quality of life outperform the stock market by 120%. Brands with strong mission and purpose experience 175% brand valuation improvement. So if you're on the investment side, if you're looking at the ROI, everything leads you in that direction around social impact is mandatory. All right, we're going to fly through some other trends just to give you some background. Here we go. There we go. Businesses need to be the heroes. People now believe, this is a big one that I want you to, this is a new trend, but people now believe that businesses bear as much of a responsibility as governments to drive positive social change. Think about that. We're now looking at the businesses saying, you are responsible now for helping to improve our community just as much, if not more, than the leaders we elect. That's a big trend change. All right, so I was a marketing major. You always were ingrained product, price, place, promotion. They added later after I graduated, people, process, position. My biggest contention now is that purpose is one of those legs to the businesses for that reason. All right, some other ones that are important to understand. You've all heard Tom's Shoes, 1 for 1, right? So whatever you buy, they donate one. Like for shoes, you buy a pair of shoes, Tom's donates a pair of shoes to those in need. You have all sorts of derivatives, shirts, hats, things where they donate school uniforms. Obviously not applicable to every business, especially those in the service line, but here's where that changed the game for corporate philanthropy. Years before, it was if you had a good year, you financially give. So corporate philanthropy was really tied to a check. What happened in 2008 is the economy crashed, and sadly what we're seeing right now is if you're waiting until the end of the year, what happens if companies don't have a good year? All these nonprofits that are relying on these dollars don't get them. And so you realize that model of corporate philanthropy is not sustainable. And what this 1 for 1 model did is it baked in the hard cost of giving into every single transaction. And that's the lesson learned is how can we make giving systematic? How can we perhaps take a percentage of every new sale? 5%, 10%. Most companies give less than 1% when you talk about corporate social responsibility. Individual giving, by far, number 1. Foundation giving, number 2. Corporate philanthropy typically is about 12% of overall giving. And so if we can open up the floodgates and get businesses to realize that philanthropy is an investment, by making it easy, making it systematic, we can create some powerful change. But that's where the 1 for 1 model really did change the game is how do we bake in the hard cost of giving into every single transaction so that it has a higher purpose? And that also, too, for your employees, gives them a much higher sense of purpose. Imagine if they know that every single deal that they sell will benefit the community versus just fattening the wallet of the owner. Way more powerful. All right. There we go. So giving is becoming more systematic and sustainable for that reason. That's the big trend is it's becoming more systematic and more sustainable. Next is becoming a lot more strategic. Business leaders live on ROI, right? They want to be able to know that what they invest in, because they have to be good stewards of their financial resources, they want to know that it's working. They want to know that it's making a difference. And so you're seeing a lot of strategies start to play out around how do we align ourselves with the nonprofits and really start to be laser focused? How do we pick platforms that align with our business and give to those platforms so that we're not just nickel and diamond all over the place, we're actually being very strategic with our giving. And so there are all sorts of examples on that, like FedEx. This is front and center on their website. If you look at their corporate philanthropy, their statement, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's committed to actively supporting the communities we serve through the investment of our people, so volunteerism, resources, obviously financial and their in-kind trade, and network, obviously with the shipment that they do to be able to provide goods and services around the world. But here's their 3 pillars: emergency and disaster relief, child pedestrian safety, environmental sustainability. So they've picked 3 causes. It doesn't mean that they don't give to others, but when you look at where their strategy is, they've honed in on 3 things that align with their business, but that they can make a real difference in. All right. 85% of companies are now measuring and tracking the societal outcomes and impacts of investments. They want to know that what they're doing is working. They also want that storyline because back to the causes that they're supporting, they want to know that it's working, and you as the consumers want to know that it's working. And so they are tracking those outcomes. Once again, that's a big new trend. So with that, obviously, they're giving more to less organizations. And so that is a big trend, especially on the nonprofit side. You have to realize that that can be an opportunity, but it can also be a challenge. They're aligning expertise and leveraging all assets. And you will see this play out in the spotlights that we're going to show a little bit later on. When you look at what you have as assets, if you have conference rooms, if you're a car dealership and you have showrooms, you can open those up to nonprofits and allow them to use those space for free. If you have camera equipment, you can loan those out to nonprofits to be able to share their stories. If you have trucks, delivery trucks, well, you can use those for bicycle rides and things to pick up the riders as they're going along who might not be able to finish the race. When you start doing an audit of what are your skill sets with you and your team, what resources do you have available, you start to realize, wow, I can align these in really powerful ways. And so that's the fun thing now, is really opening up the creativity around, okay, let's see what we have. Let's see what our skill set is. How can we invest and be able to leverage all of those assets to be able to make a difference? You're seeing engaging the public, right? So round up at the terminal when you eat at the restaurant, engaging the public. You're seeing them throw it out to their consumers. Here's some nonprofits that we want to support. Cast your vote. But that's a big trend now too, is engaging the public, engaging them in this conversation and engaging them in an opportunity to give back with you. Making volunteerism turnkey, transforming employees into an army of do-gooders. That goes back to why, that physical service, right? Realizing that you have a team of people that you can leverage to teach them and train them and equip them, but also leverage that to be able to go out and give back. And it doesn't have to be, we'll see this later on, your whole team going out for a day of service. It can be 2 or 3 people on a regular basis volunteering their time to go and read to kids in the morning. It can be short, simple bursts that you can leverage systematically. So going back in, 77% of employees say that company-sponsored volunteer activities are essential to their well-being. They're looking at you for these opportunities. The average corporate volunteer participation rate, sadly, is only 33%. And almost 60% of companies provide paid time off for their employees to volunteer. So when you look at, we have a really big opportunity to do better at leveraging our team to make a difference. I just threw these out there as just kind of trends. On average, about 25% of adults volunteer annually. Estimated value of each volunteer hour, just so you know, we track all of this, and you can track all of this, $28.54. It's different for each city, different for skill sets, lawyers, doctors, all that. It all has different metrics. But you can assign a value to your volunteerism. You can track it all, and you can assign your impact based on these metrics. So back to your storyline that you share, you can share really powerful metrics. Women volunteer 6% more than men, and then 72% of volunteers serve only 1 or 2 organizations or causes. Perspective. Cool stuff to know too. Obviously, volunteers donate to charity at twice the rate as non-volunteers. Your wallet follows your heart. Slightly over half of all citizens donated to charity. So when you talk about just what is the charitable makeup, DNA, I'm not going to read all this too, but it goes back to, sadly, what's going on is basically, when you talk about philanthropy, it's a case of fewer people doing more. And so volunteerism overall fall into its lowest point in 2 decades. So my point is on this is when you look at what saved philanthropy about 2 years ago, it was McKinsey donating billions and billions of dollars that threw that into a turvy, that made up the gap, but it was literally one lady donating billions of dollars. And so it is less people doing more, but it's also, too, people plugging out saying, hey, we'll give you the money, but we're not going to be engaged. It's your problem. And if we're going to make our communities better, it goes back to we have to be physically invested in our community. We can't let this trend continue to happen. All right, I want to plant these seeds. Once again, I'll fly through these and then we'll just get to the tips. But I think it's important perspective of why all this matters, right? The most expensive thing in this world is trust. It can take years to earn and only seconds to lose. And we're all in the trust business. Whatever it is that you do, ultimately it's, do I trust you? Yes, do I trust your brand? But ultimately, I'm going to go to a person within that company. Do I trust you? And I can think of no greater way to build trust than through volunteerism. You don't have to be out there coaching the kids, reading to the kids, serving the meals, planting the trees and flowers, building homes with Habitat for Humanity. But if you're out there serving, ultimately people are going to look at you and say, that guy doesn't have to be out here, but he is for all the right reasons. I want to get to know him and what he does. And I've seen this play out. Our kids, we sign them up for sports, and then the week later we get the email that says, congratulations, your son is on the team. We need a coach. So I've coached everything under the sun. But to me, it's important because, yes, it's development for our sons, but it's also for development for the community. And so I still to this day, I'm volunteer coaching the tennis teams. We just won state, which was awesome. Volunteer coaching basketball, soccer, whatever it is, sports that I don't even play, but I YouTube the videos and I get out there and do it because it's the right thing to do, but it's also talent development for our community. And every single season, parents come up and say, thank you for what you do. How can I help? Giving back leads to growth. And we're all doing it for trust. It's also influence. Yes, influence can come from money, but it also comes from being connected, building a network. All of you have influence. All of you have power. Social media, your network, your employees, your team, realizing that that is power. You don't have to have the title on the business card. You don't have to have millions of dollars. You have power because you have influence. The more you give, the more you receive. A lot of great quotes. You find yourself in the service of others. The planter's philosophy, always planting seeds of good fortune that will reap amazing benefits years down the road. So lots of great quotes. Work and meaning equals productivity and happiness. Cities need companies to solve problems. Going back to the government side, yes, we need to elect good leaders, but the reality is we need businesses to be the third-party catalyst because you don't have the corporate red tape. We can do a school tour, and at the end, we can ask the principal and say, what do you need? They can give any answer. Sadly, what most of them give is, we have 492 kids, we need ponchos. Because if it's raining, our kids don't come to class. I don't have to ask anybody for permission. I can show up the next day with 500 ponchos and say, done. That's the power the business community has to make a difference. A lot of other entities, you got to work through a lot of bureaucratic red tape to be able to make that happen. Cities need companies. You can be heroic by becoming a community champion. So let's make this fun. Let's make this easy. Let's back up a little bit because I want to share some of these. All right, here we go. Now, we'll click. There we go. So, a lot of things you can do as a company. First, modified work schedule. Modified work schedule basically is the ability for you to tweak your schedule. That's where you saw companies give paid time off for volunteerism. So there's a lot of versions of this. But in essence, you can say, hey, team, you can go and volunteer from 8:30 to 9:30, 8:30 to 10:30, 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is. There's tons of things you can do in the morning to work with kids, to work with seniors, to go and give back. And we want you to go out there and give back. Take some pictures, get some video, have some fun, be a blessing. We'll give you 30 minutes of drive time to get to the office, and boom, that's a part of your workday. We're giving you a higher purpose. Or do it at the end of the day. Leave at 3:30 and go tutor and mentor some kids after school. Boom, and then you're home at your normal hour. You're making it easy and you're building it in. And yeah, you could require them to make up that time if you wanted to, but most companies realize higher purpose. we're going to build that in. And like I said, it doesn't need to be a lot of people. It can just be 2 or 3 people on a regular basis. Let them adopt a nonprofit, and you can do some really cool things. Community service days, experiential meetings, all opportunities to serve. Yes, you can have your whole team go out and do community service, picking up litter. We had 15,000 people picking up litter over a weekend. You can do big things, but you can also do really cool things. When you have your planning meeting, instead of doing it in the stuffy old office, get out and go serve. We do our team meetings around Meals for Wheels. We go and we get in the morning, we show up to MIFO, which is an organization there in Memphis. We show up, take my SUV, load up hot and cold food. We all jump in the SUV and we go around delivering meals. And while we're doing it, we're talking about what opportunities we have as a team to do better, talking about challenges, whatever it is. We're having our team meeting, but we're doing it while serving. You can do it flying through zip lines. You can do it out in the park, cleaning up the park, right? Take the things you're already doing and adding a layer of purpose. Experiential meetings. Bringing opportunities in-house, where you say, well, I don't have time to get out. You can bring them all in-house. You can write letters for troops. You can write thank you cards. You can pack meals. There's tons of nonprofits that you can work that will literally ship everything to your office, and you can do it over a lunch break. You can do it during your office. You can do it even for your remote team. You can send things to their house, and you can encourage them to be able to write. You can see up here in the middle there, they're all kind of, darkened out, but, we'll do thank you cards for kids, for troops, for police officers and firefighters, like little things like that on a regular basis that you can do, bringing it in-house. You can organize nonprofit tours. This is a big one. People need to see the good that's going on in the community. You can reach out to any nonprofit and say, hey, I want to bring a team. We want to see what you're doing, and we want to get involved. You can also bring those nonprofit leaders, if you can't get out, bring them in. Hey, we've got a lunch and learn. You be the guest speaker, and we want you to come share the good that's going on, and we want to learn about the impact you're having and how we can serve together. So going out, seeing the good, or inviting them to come to you. Either way, organizing nonprofit tours. That's a fun and easy one. Casual theme days. Wear your favorite shirt, wear your favorite sports jersey, whatever it is. If you do that, donate $10 and all that goes to a nonprofit, right? Creating fun opportunities to engage your team in a higher purpose. Once again, the whole point of this is it doesn't have to be difficult. You can make it fun, you can make it easy, and you can give back. Matching contributions, sponsoring events organized by employees. If you serve on this committee, if you are a part of this, we'll match dollar for dollar or we'll sponsor your event. You can encourage philanthropy by putting your dollars through your employees. All right, so a few other quick ones on how you can do this personally. Weave it into your normal routine. So this one, we're going to call it a beneficial watch party. There we go. So the idea of this is where all of this doesn't have to be difficult, right? Anytime you have friends and family over, anytime you're watching March Madness, or you're watching the Oscars, or you're watching NFL, whatever it is, say, hey, when you come over to the house, whatever you would normally spend on lunch or dinner, we want you to put that in our charitable coin bank, and we're going to donate to this nonprofit. And you tell them why you're donating to that nonprofit. And you'll be surprised how much money you can raise. My wife and I, we've done this for years. Karaoke, that right there is a movie premiere we hosted. We made people pay. We gave them the movie premiere for free, Brian Banks' story. But we said, hey, whatever you would normally spend, we're going to give that to Tom Shadyac as a part of his One Family initiative. And so take the things you're doing, add the purpose. I had a friend that did this over the NFL season. He raised $15,000 by just having friends and family over to his house to watch NFL games. And the beauty of what happened is people, yes, they got competitive a little bit on, donating, but ultimately what happened is about halfway through the season, people were so touched by what he was doing, they did their own beneficial watch parties and donated the money back to him and his nonprofit because they were so moved by what he was doing. So, beneficial watch party, powerful way for all of you to be able to make a difference. So here's where we take action. Here's the steps. Here's the takeaways, right? 1, define your purpose, keep it simple. As a business, as a family, as an individual. All of this applies corporately, but also personally. So, City Current, mission, power the good. For us, for our family, parked on education. We're heavily invested in education. When you look at the boards I serve on and what I do, it's all education. So you can have fun with it, but you keep it simple. That way, when people ask, what do you stand for? You know what you're fighting for. The cool thing about this is when you understand what you're fighting for and you start asking others what they're fighting for, you get some really amazing responses. And you get to know people that are overcoming and battling cancer, who've died, been close to death, and brought back to life, like Donna shared last night. Like, you get powerful stories by not asking, what do you do? What are you fighting for? Commit your time, mark it on your calendar. Make it a priority. It can be 30 minutes a week, 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a month, an hour a year. Whatever it is, put it on your calendar and mark it as your time to physically serve. Make it a priority. And that's where, when you define your purpose and you start looking at, okay, what difference am I trying to make? And now I'm carving out the time to make it intentional. That's where then the next one is you can start allocating your assets, aligning your expertise, figuring out, okay, if I want to make a difference with youth, I'm going to carve out this time. Now I'm going to start figuring out, what am I good at? What resources do I have? Financial, time, camera equipment, sports equipment, soccer balls, baseballs. What do I have that I can donate or use to be able to leverage? And then you start taking action. And this is where I would encourage you. Get involved with one large nonprofit and get involved with one small nonprofit. The large nonprofit, if I say I volunteer with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, everyone knows what that is. The difference I make, though, as one individual, I learn a lot, I meet a lot of people, I can do a lot of amazing good, but the drop in the pond, the ripple, isn't quite as big as if I'm getting involved with a small nonprofit. I can get involved with a small nonprofit and, typical of anything, do a lot of things to make a difference. And that becomes your calling card, your leadership to make a difference. And you get to physically see the impact that you're having firsthand. This is another one. Create a community calling card. How do you engage the public to be able to give back? It's something that you don't just sponsor and put your name on. It's how do you physically craft something that your team and your public can get involved in. So the community calling card is the opportunity to join together in giving back. For us, we do Samaritan's Feet. Samaritan's Feet's a global organization. We've been doing this now for like 13 years in Memphis and Nashville. We'll have hundreds of kids show up. We wash their feet. We give them new socks and shoes, toothpaste, toothbrushes, back to school supplies, food, books. We just pour into them and we love on them. And these are kids in our own hometown neighborhoods that come in January wearing flip-flops. They come in, shoes that are 2 sizes too big or too small. They're sharing toothbrushes, one for a family of 5. Like, it opens your eyes and it opens your heart, but it's a powerful opportunity to bring the community together because we do the whole thing. We organize it all. All the volunteers have to do is show up and share their love, and it is a blessing through and through. And so I'm going to give you a snapshot of what that looks like. We are here at our City Current Samaritan's Feet distribution at Las Americas, and we are washing the feet of hundreds of kids, giving them new socks and shoes, but more importantly, hope and love and encouragement. They also get toothbrushes and toothpaste, thanks to Delta Dental of Tennessee, and so amazing partnerships, the business community rallying together with all these volunteers coming out and sharing our love for youth here in Memphis at Las Americas. We love Las Americas. We love Samaritan's Feet. And this is our chance to make a difference together. And so here with us, we have all these volunteers washing the feet of the kids, putting on new socks and shoes, talking about what their dreams are, what they want to be when they grow older, where they go to school, siblings, sports, education in school. It's all about sharing hope and sharing love and sharing time together, building relationships. And so that's what you're seeing unfold here at this event. And so really powerful opportunity to make a difference together. So we organize that whole thing, so all you have to do is show up. But yeah, that right there, and we can get Samaritan's Feet to Toledo. That's easy to do, but amazing organization. My wife and I have literally traveled coast to coast, California, Florida, everything in between, to be a part of what they're doing to serve. And every single one of those, man, I can be here for days talking about the miracles that happen at those events that you would not believe even if you heard them. You have to see them firsthand because they are life-changing moments because you're putting together. When you bring good people together, amazing things happen. It's that simple. And so, add purpose to every opportunity. And here's where even this event gets better, right? Doing Right spotlights. Last night, as they were talking about, well, yeah, we could give out like a physical award, but what if we actually had an event that was talking about giving back and making a difference and doing right that actually did right? So, in each of the honorees' name, they donated a scholarship to deserving students that are literally the future leaders changing our world. When they read what they wrote about what they're doing, you are blessed in this community with some amazing youth that are really picking up the reins. That's what I'm talking about. Take the things you're already doing, instead of giving a physical award that's just going to sit on a mantle, make it a legacy statement. Make it something that invests back in the people, the future leaders. So boom, add purpose to every event and opportunity, just like you're doing today. Focus on collaboration with other organizations. You don't have to do it alone. Make giving systematic and automatic so it's sustainable. Can we round up? Can we do a percentage? What can we do so that every single thing we do makes a difference? You can do this with your family. When we go out to eat, we round up, we put that money to round up in a coin bank, our charitable coin bank, and the kids get to decide, based on education, our focus, parked on education, where we donate that money. You can do it with your family. Include community in your newsletter. Share nonprofit good news. As you're sharing on social media, if you have a newsletter with your clients, talk about the good that's going on. Talk about the nonprofits, how you can serve. Capture pictures and video of your team out serving. One of the business leaders here in the room today said they sent out a survey to their clients, and they were asking, like, what do you think? What do you know? And they were shocked at the results that came back that said, we don't see you serving in the community enough. Well, they were just doing it under the radar. It needs to be visible. The people want to see it. They want to see you doing good. Share it. Have some fun with it. Say, we're honored to come out here and serve. Look at the work this nonprofit is doing. We're honored to be a part of what's going on here in our community because we want to lift. Empower your employees to be social media champions, community champions. When you put on a hat saying, I am a community champion, it changes your world and how you look at Toledo and how you look at your ability to make a difference. Do your homework ahead of time. Learn about those attending events. Did it last night. Had some fun talking about Ironmans. But you'll be surprised. Don't talk about people and their business when you get to know them. Talk about what they care about. Going back to what drives them, what purpose, what are you fighting for? Talk about that. Be the hero. It changes your world. And that's how you can become a spark to power the good right here in your community. So that's a lot. You can follow me. You can get involved. We have events, too, that you can do for free. They're virtual. So if any of you ever want to follow City Current, get involved. It's free. Just go to citycurrent.com. So that's my world. And now I'm going to have some fun. And let's introduce and recognize and celebrate your local champions who are doing right. So before I introduce our first one, there are 3 honorees, obviously. And when you look at the difference they're making, we had a chance to go back in and ahead of time produce these video features, share these stories. They're about 5 minutes in terms of the stories that they share, the impact they're having. It was really hard to cull it down into 5 minutes because when you see all the good that they're doing, these interviews were like 15 to 20 minutes long and talking about employees and how they're benefiting. Like there's a lot to distill down to 5 minutes. But this is our chance to celebrate the good that's going on right here. And with this first one, Kripke Enterprises, you're going to see how they invest in their team, in their people, to be able to make a difference. And so let's go ahead and let's roll the first tape of Kripke Enterprises.
Kripke Enterprises was founded in 1993 by my parents, Larry and Joni Kripke. We started out as a very humble non-ferrous, which means doesn't stick to a magnet, metal brokerage company. And we had 3 employees to start, which were my mom and dad and one other person. We currently have 68 employees in 4 states. And last year we did a little bit shy of $375 million in sales. And we have a few different divisions, but mainly we're big in recycling, and we're also big in aluminum coil products that go into the building and construction market. We feel it's very important to create a safe place to work on 2 fronts. One is we're in an industry that can be dangerous. We're recycling metal, where we have forklifts buzzing around a warehouse. We have equipment that can be dangerous. And we feel it's very important to protect our workers, create a safe place for them to be. But they also have to feel safe in that they have food security. Do we pay them enough? They also have to feel safe in housing security. Do they have a safe place to live? And those are some of the things that we do here, that we try to think beyond just when they're here for their 8 or 9 hours a day, to make sure that they feel safe and secure and can put in their best effort here when they're here. So I referenced feeling safe. And one day I was walking through the warehouse and I was talking with one of my employees, and it was a beautiful summer day. And I said, "Were you outside over the weekend?" And he said, "No, we can't go outside in our area because there's too many drive-by shootings and I can't let my kids play outside." And it just hit me so hard that we have employees that are not living in a safe, secure place. And it got me thinking, A, that's terrible, but B, how can they really do a good job here if they're always worried about what is going on at home, whether they're there or not? And so I got together with our executive team and I said, I would like to create a program to help people get into homes and get into safe neighborhoods and find a way to get there. How do we do that? And we have put together this program where we thought an important part of it was financial literacy. And we put them through a 6-month financial literacy course with the help of a partner, Sun, which is a credit union that we use for our HSA accounts, and they provide this course. And if they go through that course, we will help them make a down payment on a house, and then we will help pay their mortgage for a period of 3 years, as long as obviously they continue to work here.
I remember when I first started, we had sit downs, and I had only been here for 3 months, and they asked me what my goals were. And it wasn't just work goals, it was personal goals, things that I wanted to accomplish in my life. And one of those things, like the first thing on that list, was I wanted to buy my own home. I wanted to be secure in my own home. And they saw that. They sat down and they figured out a plan to make sure that we could have what we wanted and we needed. And I think that's what people really need to do, is listen to what their employees genuinely want with their lives outside of work. It makes them much more happy and excited to come in.
Kripke, they're like family. I'm grateful, and all the joy that comes along with owning a home, having my kids there, my wife, my grandkids. I love it. I'm grateful for Kripke of helping me, and Sun Federal Credit Union that helped me out too, of learning how to manage my money and how to own a home, and what gave me all the information of what to do.
There was this guy named Zig Ziglar who used to go around and teach about positive attitude. And one of the things he used to say is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And one of the beautiful benefits of letting your employees know that you care about them is they will run through a brick wall for you. And people talk about culture all the time, and they say, oh yeah, it'd be easy to create a positive culture. We just have to make money first. But the reality is it's the opposite. You have to create the culture first. Then your employees will run through a brick wall for you. And then you'll turn it into a really profitable enterprise.
You've seen him on the screen. Now let's welcome him in person, Matt Kripke. So last night we did the honor of, passing on the scholarships. So that was the award last night, was giving the scholarships to the kids. But we at least give you something so you get a book.
Thank you.
Signed to you.
Let me make sure it's signed. Oh, yeah. And something personal written. I don't have my reading glasses on me. So thank you for recognizing us. I think what is a weird feeling for us is we don't do this for any sort of recognition, and yet here we are. Our team, it is meaningful to me, and this quality that you're here right now, I inherited from my father. He cries over spilled milk. He unfortunately cries over everything. It is meaningful to be recognized for doing the right thing. And it was so exciting for me to see Megan and Eric up there on that screen, and see Megan and Eric out here today, and know that as part of working with us, that their life has changed for the better. And we have a lot of employees whose life has changed for the better, and I challenge those of you in this room that employ people, just look for opportunities to make their world better. It's pretty much that simple. That's it. One of my mentors once said to me, when you're public speaking, be short, be sweet, and take your seat. Thank you.
Kripke Enterprises. Donna and I were talking last night about her working at a title company, and she's like, the idea never even dawned on me. Financial literacy, home ownership, like that's the perfect tie-in. And that's the point, right? Is sharing the stories of what others are doing to inspire you to take these ideas and do something with them. And so that's the magic of these moments. All right, so the next one, Taylor Automotive family. I talked about them before, but when you look at their heart for service, man, TV shows, opening up their dealerships to invite nonprofits in, serving in the community, amazing ambassadors that you'll hear from in a second and see up on the screen. But huge heart for service, making a big difference in many different ways. Next up is Taylor Automotive family.
Cross and I are thrilled to work with the Taylor Automotive family. They've been in business 42 years, 340 employees, 7 dealerships. But that's the statistical story, but that's not really the story. The story is Steve Taylor, who Cross and I work for, and Mr. Taylor Sr. What they do in our community is just off the charts. It's involvement every day, helping different organizations, helping individual people. Yes. I've been around a long time in business, and so has Terry. We've never seen anything like it, and it certainly is an incredible honor and a privilege to work with the Taylors, and they really have created a family. There have been so many experiences that we've had at Taylor over the 6 years that we've been doing this. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things, but some that stand out to me, I think, is when we have a cool thing we do at the Perrysburg dealership, Hyundai. Yes. We take the cars out, the showroom, and the showroom is gorgeous. It looks like a silver spaceship. I mean, doesn't it, Cross? It really does. It's so very cool. Take all the cars out on a Thursday night. We put in high top tables, black tablecloths. We have hors d'oeuvres and drinks and live music. And then we'll bring an organization in like Unruly Arts. They're artists with disabilities. And we put their art up on easels and with a price, moderately priced things. And then we invite people to come in and they bid on the art. It's an easy process. It's not a silent bid. You just, $200, it's $200, $100. But anyways, it becomes such a great night. In an hour and a half, we do about $9,000 or $10,000 for the organization. And there's no expenses for them. We cover everything, but it is an emotional touch in the community. And we've done hundreds of those kind of things. Cross is helping feed kids in the public school system. Yes, you should talk about that, Cross. Yes. Unbelievable, feeding kids that wouldn't get lunch or wouldn't get breakfast.
Yes. Tom and myself, we've really been blessed to develop so many community partnerships since we both started. And it's been so positive. people have been very welcoming. They've been very loving when we've approached them or we're working together. So some of my favorite, and I'm sure, Tommy, you'll agree with this, we have an organization called Connecting Kids to Meals, and they serve our local communities with lunchtime meals. They do after-school meals. I don't know, it's something like 2.4 million meals that they distribute to our local communities. So we love Wendy Honey at Connecting Kids to Meals. Then we got the Toledo Art Museum, which we collaborate with them. We have our local schools here, Toledo Public Schools. It's just a plethora of all kind of different community partnerships that we develop. And of course, we are extremely proud because we've developed these. The Taylor Automotive family have developed these in the community.
Well, and that's very well said, Cross. And it is even a wider reach in that we have the Steve Taylor High School Stars that we do every week, where we shoot our own TV show and we honor young men and women in high school that are doing great things. And it's not just the athletes, managers and people,
bands,
cheerleaders. Then we do the Steve Taylor Community Connection, where somebody in business, we bring them in our studio, we interview them, and they're doing good things. We do the Steve Taylor Community Star, and that is somebody with a body of work. Maybe 20 or 25 years, have been doing good things in the community. We bring them in. We have
Coaches Chronicles.
the Steve Taylor Coaches Chronicles. We honor coaches. Coaches and teachers change lives. So we're honoring, what I love about it is such a wide swath of people. Everybody gets their recognition. And I think that there's a thing that, that when you do something locally and it's good and positive, it filters out into the community. I really believe that. And that's why it's so great that you're doing this program, because I think when people see good things being done, I think they mimic and copy that. And so we're just proud to be a small part of that. That Malcolm Gladwell book, Tipping Point, where again, creating positive synergy in local areas, and then it filters out in the community. We have seen that come to fruition. That is so very true. And my mom used to always tell me, you're never wrong doing the right thing. If you try to do the right thing, not that it works out 1,000% of the time, but if you're trying to do the right thing, good things are going to happen to you. And the Taylor Automotive family with Steve and Mr. Taylor and our entire crew and Cross, they do the right thing.
If you do good, you'll be good. And I would just like to leave it right there.
I feel like they don't really need an introduction. It's like the Tom and Terry show. So let's continue that show up here. So Tom and Terry, Taylor Automotive family. And even last night, to their credit, with the students, they're like, let's get you on the show. Let's share your story. So huge heart for serving and giving back. And true to form, Terry.
Thank you, sir.
And Tom.
Thank you, sir.
And now the mic is yours.
Well, good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, should I say. This is absolutely amazing. It really, really is. And I just want to appreciate everybody that's here, each and every one of you. Thank you. I love you. And thanks for your support. I'd just like to start off to say thank you to the University of Toledo Business Center. They've done such an amazing job. They really, really did. And organizing everything. Angie and Megan, could you just stand up, please? Then, of course, I'd like to recognize the Taylor Automotive family. Steve and his dad has just been, wonderful to give us this opportunity to work for them. And also the entire team. It's just not, Steve and his dad, it's all of us as a family. So we get along so great. One thing I want to emphasize today or this morning is the fact that I've been a part of a lot of winning teams throughout my life. I don't know if you're aware or not, I used to be a pretty good athlete in football, basketball, and we won a lot of games. And in a sense, I am a champion. That's where my heart comes from. I like waking up every day and being a winner. And I think the Taylor Automotive family and the experiences gave me to work with such great people over these last 4 or 5 years has just been so exciting and purposeful. And I will say to you today, the company that I work for, led by Steve and his dad, is the #1 best damn company in the nation. And I'll leave it right there. Thank you.
Great job, Super Cross. Anybody who knows Cross, it's you talk about authenticity. He's got the biggest heart in the community, and he's an incredible gentleman to work with. Jeremy, thanks for what you're doing. You're what we call in the business a difference maker. You're making a difference every day. This award really has nothing to do with Terry and I. It's Steve, Mr. Taylor. Cross is right. I've had the best jobs in the world. I've worked with some of the greatest organizations. I taught and coached for 30 plus years, high school and college. Worked for Buckeye and BCSN, which is incredible, for 26 years, and now 6 with Taylor. And I'll tell you what, I've never experienced anything like Taylor. The team there, Nick Marconi and Ed McNeil and Casey and China and all the folks. We're very, very fortunate. It's an incredible deal. But the Taylors, Steve, Steve's idea. Steve came up with this idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. He said, you know what? When I was leaving BCSN, he said, why don't you come here? And I thought maybe he wanted me to sell cars. I said, well, I know some people, and if you have somebody, and my wife will tell you, have somebody do the financing, not me. But I know people, and maybe I could sell cars. Steve goes, no, you're not here to sell cars. I said, okay, what do you want me to do, Steve? And he said, well, I want you to go out in the community every day and represent Taylor and do good things. I thought, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. And he did, and to his credit, it was totally his idea. Now he's hired other ambassadors, Mary Helen Dara, who's sensational, and Joan Coase, and Victoria Kim. I mean, this is expanding, kind of what Jeremy's talking about. This is expanding and going out into the community, and every day we get to do good things. The UT Business Department, we thank you so much. Donna, appreciate you. What an incredible lady you are. Thank you so much. Bill Wursel, longtime friend, Bill. Thank you for what you've done. Bill in the small business community has been remarkable and helped so many businesses. This is just a fantastic endeavor. To all the honorees tonight, congratulations to you. Making a difference is everything. Everybody can reach out and help somebody, and Terry and I have been privileged because the Taylors have allowed us to do that. So, and to our good friends and our community partners, right, Cross, that are out here, we have so many good friends out there. I see BCSN, Mark Beyer, and all our Chet Welch from the Perrysburg Messenger, and Brad, and the Social Butterfly, and Fletcher's here, great writer. We appreciate Christina White, Sherry Kobach. We appreciate all of you, and thank you so very much.
Taylor Automotive family. So you saw a little teaser, Allie Sterling Philanthropy. When you talk about doing right for humankind, promoting CSR, corporate social responsibility, making it easy for companies to get involved, to give back, helping nonprofits to lift, that's all Allie and her world. So without further ado, Allie Sterling Philanthropy. We'll let me.
Allie Sterling Philanthropy is a locally rooted, nationally recognized advisory firm serving the philanthropic needs of families, corporations, and foundations. Founded 15 years ago, our firm works with nonprofits of all shapes and sizes. We work with individuals and family foundations, corporations, community foundations, anyone in that philanthropic space within our community and across the nation. We love starting our conversations with our clients around the why. around what it is that they're trying to accomplish, what they're excited about, passionate about, and what they're willing to do to make that happen. Because I think that's, part of the differentiator in success has everything to do with our awareness of what we need to accomplish, how hard it might be to get there, but also how rewarding it will be when we arrive. And so a lot of our conversations have to do with, again, why we're looking to create some change, why we're looking to put new practices into place, why we're looking to maybe give and interact with the community a little bit differently in order to ascertain if it's going to be something that's possible and what kind of work it will take to get there. Corporate philanthropy, corporate giving, whatever name you want to ascribe to it, I think is absolutely becoming into its own right now, which is exciting. It's so important because I think in order to realize the full potential of your brand, it's critical, hypercritical, that we are involving our stakeholders in that process. We're involving our employees in that process. We're involving the community in the process of being our best self. Again, from a corporate perspective or on the philanthropic side, personally, our own personal brands and realizing that same full potential that we have within us to make a difference, a ripple effect throughout not only the community, but within our generations and the legacy that we hope to leave for our own family. This work has broadened, I think, our appreciation for what's possible within us as a team. We encourage and allow for paid time off for our employees to volunteer, to serve on boards, to donate. We match as an employer as well. And so I think through walking alongside our clients in their journey to exploring their own philanthropic pursuits, their own notion of what's possible within their firms and company, we've taken that as well and have created our own protocols, our own platforms for giving and engaging and volunteering. And our team, those are the best stories. Those are the ones when we talk every year about what we've done, what we've accomplished. It's always those personal experiences, the pro bono work that we get to do for some of our clients as well. So I see full circle what we preach and what we talk to our clients about as far as investing in this kind of work really does yield returns well beyond our imagination. We believe through our work with our clients, with our work with each other, and our own experiences and our own growth in this area, that we will leave the world a better place if we continue to stretch, to challenge ourselves, to get a little bit out of our comfort zone as it relates to doing things differently. I was fortunate as I was growing up to come from a place of service over self. And, I think we have to appreciate that everyone comes from a different background, a different relationship with giving, and we come to it in different ways, and we accept all of those different ways. Every so often we'll work with a client who's becoming charitable, growing into their own, and so they're learning alongside each of us as far as how we can leave an imprint and how we can ensure that our purpose, our values continue on well after we do. I would encourage companies to get engaged and to push and stretch a little bit further as it relates to their role within their communities, as it relates to what they believe the intersection between their profits and their purpose might be. Exploring that, asking stakeholders to weigh in. We all want to know essentially what our consumers, our clients want and feel about our own organizations. And so that inquiry process, that stretching process, that just notion of doing more and doing better, I think is alive and well within our corporate space right now. And there's just a huge potential for us to do even more. So that would be my sense of encouragement for companies and individuals to just experience that joy of giving and to push a little further and to see what's possible.
Allie Sterling Philanthropy. She can write a much better book, so she doesn't really need this, but Allie Sterling Philanthropy.
So much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. My goodness. On behalf of my amazing team, both past and present, who are some of the most ethical and compassionate people I know, I humbly accept this award, and I'm super honored to do so alongside some amazing and incredible honorees as well. Our firm absolutely loves our relationship with the University of Toledo Family Business Center and all they do to support the success of privately held companies out there, and also bringing in national thought leaders and speakers like Jeremy Park to help inspire us and to help us realize our full potential. Of course, to the Martin family for their vision, their leadership, and their generosity. And lastly, really, and most importantly, to every single one of you and us who are doing right every single day, quietly, and without recognition sometimes. So this award is for each of you. Thank you very much.
So let's give all of our honorees one more big round of applause. Share your love and appreciation. Kripke Enterprises, Taylor Automotive Family, Allie Sterling Philanthropy. So well deserved indeed. So we hope you've been inspired. We hope you have some ideas, some sparks that you can take back to your business, to your organization, to go and power the good. And I think that becomes the fun of this, is we set in motion a responsibility that each of us undertake to be able to be the community champions, to go and use our resources to power the good. And so that's where you take, yes, you can do better in Toledo, but I would say that we can all do better and we can all power the good in Toledo once you step out there as a community champion. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of today. I appreciate the time and definitely appreciate the opportunity. And so now I'll pass the baton to close out the show officially. But thank you for all you do to power the good.
So that's one of the Jute Mode shirts who have their Here for Good campaign going on right now. It's another example of a great local family business in our community that's doing really good stuff. So I wanted to just take a moment and thank everyone for coming today. You know, Jeremy talked about people solve problems. Donna, I appreciate your generosity and also being very hands-on and being very helpful through this whole entire process to make this event happen. Our judges, Janelle Whitmer, Tony Zimmerman, Bill Wurzel, Emily Croak, and Donna, in addition to that, thank you so much for your time to help choose our spotlight winners. Thank you to Nick and Warren, who are our students over there that were helpful, always hands on deck when we do these types of events. Megan, who really made a lot of this happen, thank you for all your hard work. The Pinnacle, also members of our center, thank you to the wonderful staff today. Jim back there, he's our AV guru. We appreciate him at all of our events. Jeremy, thank you so much for coming, for shedding light on this important topic. All of our spotlight winners, it's all very inspirational. I know you don't do it to be acknowledged, but you definitely should be acknowledged, and I think even as importantly, to be a good example and to show other local businesses the little things that you can do to help our community, to help your employees, and to help the betterment of humankind. So a few quick things. If you aren't a member of the center and you are interested, you would have had these little cards attached to your name tag. Feel free to snap the QR code and a message will come to us and we can get coffee, lunch, and tell you more about the center, learn more about your organization. Our golf outing, which we raise money to support student scholarships, student travel. That's Monday, September 25th. If you're interested in participating or being a sponsor, there's a QR code on your table. You can click on that. And very fittingly, our Day of Giving at the University of Toledo is March 29th and March 30th. So if you feel inspired, the center is funded completely by our members and our sponsors. We will, when we send out, this was recorded, we will send you out the link. It'll have the presentation in there. Feel free to share that with anyone who you feel needs to see this. We will put a Day of Giving link in there as well. And I just found out if you do have a donor advised fund at the Greater Toledo Community Foundation, I know Mike's back there, you can give through that to the university, to the Family Business Center through Day of Giving as well. So I think that's everything. Thank you again. Thank you to all of you. I know We spotlighted 3, but there are so many companies and individuals in our community that are doing great things. So we appreciate it all. Thank you.